work is largely focused on the mechanisms, why people develop complications of diabetes. Complications of diabetes essentially means the problems that the diabetic patients encounter after years of having the disease, and this is really the biggest challenge for managing the diabetes epidemic.
Diabetic retinopathy is actually the leading cause of preventable blindness in patients under the age of 50 in the United States. And so what's so very important is, yet it can cause blindness, but there are things that we can do in an attempt to try to prevent that. And Tracy is a very, very good example who has just great vision after 29 years or so of diabetes. So as has been mentioned before, the reason or the cause of blindness in patients with diabetes, basically there are three, two of which they're trying to manipulate with their treatment that we're talking about. Blood vascular leakage causes swelling in the retina. Swollen retina doesn't see well. Secondly, when the retina loses blood supply, it can form abnormal vessels. And so if you develop abnormal vessels, you can lose vision from bleeding, scar tissue, etc. in the back of the eye. The third cause of vision loss is something that we still don't have a good treatment for, which is the actual loss of blood flow. Unfortunately, we don't have anything at this point that will affect that, but certainly the work that they're doing, if we can translate that from the animal model into the clinical model, hopefully there will be yet another way in which we can approach this devastating disease. And so I certainly applaud them in looking at this new novel treatment idea, and I certainly hope that it does in fact end up helping us in the clinic as well.
It's always innovative and hopeful, that maybe one day we'll get closer to a cure, but for problems that could arise because of things that were not able to be helped before, kind of gives new hope, not as much of a worry. Not to say that lifestyle will change, that I can be less careful with my diabetes, but it just knows that doing everything I can, if something else does happen, then there is something